No battle plan survives bad information. The smartest man in the room isn't always the highest-ranking one. George Patton understood that better than most generals of World War II. December 1944, Luxembourg. Patton's staff has spent 3 days building the perfect plan for a river crossing. Every route had been measured, every timetable calculated. The briefing was already 20 minutes in, and every senior officer in the room believed the operation was ready. Then, a private raised his hand. No one acknowledged him. He wasn't an engineer, he wasn't an intelligence officer, he had no combat command and no authority to interrupt a room full of colonels and majors. Finally, he spoke anyway. "Sir, the plan will fail at the second crossing." The room went silent. The operations officer was visibly irritated. A private had just challenged a plan that dozens of experienced officers had spent 3 days preparing. Patton didn't rebuke him. He raised his hand and stopped the briefing. Then he looked at the private. "Come here, show me." The young soldier pointed to the second crossing on the map. He explained that the planners were relying on aerial photographs taken months earlier. But December wasn't September. The riverbank had changed. Heavy autumn rain had turned the clay into deep mud. Tanks wouldn't cross it, they would sink before reaching the water. Patton asked only one question. "How do you know?" The private answered simply. He had grown up near that river. He knew how the ground behaved every winter. He had watched farm equipment get trapped there years before. That was enough for Patton. He didn't rewrite the plan on the spot. He canceled the briefing. He ordered engineers to inspect both crossing sites before a single vehicle moved. 2 days later, the engineers returned. The private had been right. The original crossing point was waterlogged and incapable of supporting armored vehicles. The alternative route he suggested was firm enough for the operation. Patton immediately changed the plan. A 3-day planning effort had been stopped because one private possessed something no Matt could provide: first-hand knowledge. That is what separated great commanders from ordinary ones. Patton wasn't impressed by rank. He was impressed by facts. He understood that reality on the ground always outranks assumptions made in a briefing room. Maps don't tell the whole story. Photographs become outdated. Reports miss details. But a soldier who has actually seen the terrain can save an entire operation. The lesson wasn't that a private knew more than a general. The lesson was that Patton knew when to listen. Because on the battlefield, the truth doesn't care who says it.